If you don't know that a Java variable actually has three core components, you will never truly understand what a variable is and how the 5 rules behind it actually work. Hey guys, welcome back. See, a variable in Java is just like a container, right, which holds some data so that we can reuse that whenever we want to. Now when I type here int x and semicolon here, I am telling Java, hey boss, I am declaring a container whose name is x, but right now that container is empty, right? It does not have any value yet. And after that, when I type here x is equal to 90, now what does it mean? I am assigning the value 90 into that container. So now x holds the value 90, right? And this is called variable declaration, and this one is called variable initialization. Now I can also write the variable on the same line, okay? For example, int y is equal to 100. Now see, y is a variable name and 100 is a value, and this one is called declaration plus initialization. In Java, both the syntax are valid. This one is also valid and this one is also valid, but most of the time we use this kind of syntax in Java. Now as I told you that every variable in Java actually has three components, right? Type, name and a value. Now if you just say here, the type will define what kind of value that a variable can store. If it is integer, it can store only integer value, and if it is a character, it can store only one character value. And name is the label that you give to that container. In our case, it's x here, and value is the actual data stored inside it, and which is what, 90 here. See, Java has some strict rules about variable names, right? And if you break even one of them, your code will not run. So the rule number 1 is a variable name must start with a letter or an underscore or a $sign. That's it. Now I'm going to show you some examples, and that is int value is equal to 88, okay? And int underscore count is equal to 90, okay? And integer age underscore is equal to 25. Now if you see here, that underscore I use here at the beginning and here underscore I use here at the end. So both are valid in Java. And again I can use here int $sign and total is equal to 2500, okay? And I can also write integer total, and at the end I can use here $sign, that is also valid, is equal to, for example, 5000. So these are allowed in Java, okay? And this one is also allowed, and these three are also allowed. And now I can write here SYSO and print that value. Here I will type here underscore count, and here I will type age underscore, and here I will type here dollar, which is total, and again I will copy this line and write here total and remove this $sign here and put this at the end. Now use Ctrl plus S to save the code and just run this code. Now as you can see, I got the output, which is 88, 90, 25, 2500 and 5000. And now guys, rule number 2 is a variable cannot contain spaces or special symbols like @ hash, note of exclamation or dash symbol. So which means you cannot write int @total marks is equal to 900. You cannot write this, okay? This is not allowed, not allowed in Java, okay? And again, if you type int value and use here note of exclamation is equal to 45, this is also not allowed, okay? If you type string student dash name is equal to Danish, for example, this one is also not allowed. And same is the case if you type here student, 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 and you give here a space and then name, this one is also not allowed. Okay, now see here, this one is also not allowed in Java, not allowed. And one last is that is hash symbol, and if you write here string account hash number, so this one is also not allowed in. And if you write here like some account number here, this one is also not valid, so not allowed in. But guys, if you type string student underscore name, this one is valid. Okay, but the thing here is this is not recommended in Java. Okay, you cannot use underscore as variable name in between, so this is actually a valid but not recommended. Now rule number 3 is Java says boss, use any name you want for your variable but do not use our names. See, in Java we have almost 50 plus keywords and you cannot use any of them as a variable names. Okay, why? Because they have special meaning in Java, which means you cannot write integer void is equal to 90. Okay, this is not allowed because this void is a keyword. Okay, static is a keyword here. Now what is a class here? This is also a keyword. Now what is package here? This package is also a keyword here. Okay, so you cannot use Java keywords as your variable name. Same is the case, you cannot use integer volatile is equal to 190. This is not allowed. Okay, not allowed in Java. But you can write these one like integer void, then you can use here underscore is equal to 200. This one is perfectly valid but not recommended. Okay, and again you can write here integer my class is equal to 400. This one is also valid. And again integer volatile 1, right? You can use numbers at the end or in between, but you cannot use number at the beginning. In Java you cannot start a variable name with number, that's not allowed, but you can use numbers at the end of any variable, that's perfectly valid. So which means these are allowed but not recommended. Okay, allowed but not recommended. Now I will copy this and paste here for you guys. And now what is rule number 4? Rule number 4 is Java variables are case sensitive. Now what does that mean? Now if you see here int count is equal to 0, and if I type here int count, count here is 1. Now if you see here that this count and this count is totally different. This count is in lowercase and this count is in uppercase. The C is in uppercase, right? So that means count and count are two different variable names for Java. So don't get confused. Count and count are not the same thing. And same is the case if I write here int age is equal to 45, for example, and again int age is equal to 30, then this age and this age are not same. They are totally different. Now rule number 5 is guys naming conventions. This is not actually a rule but a good coding practice. Now see here, if your variable name has 2 or more words, Java says use camelCase naming. Now what does that mean? That means the first word starts with lowercase and every next word starts with a capital letter. Now if you see here that student age is a combination of 2 words, right? So how can you write this in camelCase? So you have to write this integer student age is equal to, for example, 18, and integer total marks is equal to 95. As you can see here, the second word is age, so A is in uppercase, and here the second word is Marcus, the M is in uppercase. Same is the case if I have to write this one, I can write string first name, okay, that is Danish, for example, and string account number is equal to something like A102 something, okay, And now guys, if you see here, this bank account number is a combination of 3 words, right? So how can you write this? Now see here, string bank. Now again you have to make this A is in uppercase, right? Account. Now the last one is number, so N should be in uppercase, number. This is called camelCase philosophy. And right here account number, which is something XXX. Okay, now if you want to print this all of these things, so you have to write SYSO and press Ctrl plus space bar, and right here student age here, this is here T. Okay, I actually missed this T here, and again copy this lines and right here total markers, and again remove this and right here first name and remove this, and right here account number, and again remove this and write bank account number, account number, and save this code and run this code here. As you can see here, I got the output. So now you know exactly how variables work and how to name them and what rules Java follows behind the scenes. We even talked about how a variable can hold different kind of data, right? But the real question is, what are those data types? Like when should you use integer, character, double, or string? That's what we are gonna break down in the next video, that is Java data types. So stay tuned and drop a like if this helped you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.